Spider-Man 2018 was really the game that brought back the nostalgia from our childhoods of playing the old PS2 Spider-Man games. Now I'm going to be honest, I went into this experience not really knowing what I was going to do or how it would be for me, but basically after looking at my old PlayStation Network account, my PSN, I looked at it, I realized after having it for like 15 years, I had 0 platinum trophies to show for it. So after that, I looked at it, I said, you know what, we're gonna create a new account, we're gonna start from ground zero, and we're gonna try a different gaming experience. And we were gonna go for our first platinum trophy ever. And that would be Marvel Spider-Man 2018. And it was phenomenal. I have to say it was one of the best experiences I ever had. Now, yes, I have played this game once before in the past, back in 2018, and I'll be honest, it was extremely fun. I had a lot of fun with it, but I didn't really remember the story. And after playing it for a second time through, I realized I had a brand new understanding, a brand new love and respect for this game, and I can't tell you guys enough to go back and replay it one more time. It's worth it. Now, you're probably wondering after how having my old PlayStation Network account, I only had 0 trophies to show for it after like 15 years of having it. It's really because when I was a kid, I played Madden and like games like 2K for hours. And then yes, I would play games like Spider-Man and God of War, but I would only play them for like the story. And once the story was over, I was back on that. And then as I got older, I played Mortal Kombat competitively. And yeah, I dropped that quicker than a bad habit.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
And that, because that was ass. Can't explain it enough. But before we get into it, I thought maybe we should establish the ground rules of which we're going to be doing this platinum with. Phase 1 is going to be making sure that we do every main story campaign and DLC main story first. Second will be all the side missions for the DLC and all the side missions for the main story campaign. Then Phase 3, which is the final phase, because it's the longest, and you'll see as we get later in this video, I do go back and regret my decisions of doing this in Phase 3, so lesson learned, I will never do the collectible grind last. If they're in my way, if it's on my way to a mission, I'm going to start grabbing those because that was miserable. I have to say, that was the most miserable experience, is just trying to save it all for last. But Phase 3 will be the collectible grind. Spider-Man 2018 does such a great job of throwing us right into the game, into the middle of the action, if you will. As we leap out of Pete's apartment window, we are immediately introduced to the mechanics of the game on the way over to Fisk Tower. Once we arrive there, we are met with guns and the police are pinned down, so Spider-Man decides to jump in and help, and we gradually climb Fisk Tower while learning the fighting mechanics of the game, which is pretty simple for me since I've already played the whole trilogy. So we're just going to skip this part and get to the important part of this mission, which is where we meet the Kingpin himself. Once we meet the Kingpin, he's in his office just carelessly working and not worried about us. So we quickly enrage him, and that starts the boss fight. I actually really appreciate that Spider-Man 2018 uses a boss fight to teach the overall mechanics of the game. It is action-packed and with lots of fun, honestly. Great job on Insomniac for making this more fun to learn. I mean, seriously, anything is better than those stupid MJ missions. They are the bane of my existence.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
As we close in on Fisk Health, we are led to this cool cutscene, which leads us to our win over the Kingpin. Okay. Oh shit. No, Spidey, no! Oh shit! Yo, this shit's actually got lit. Oh shit, beat the... Oh yeah, beat his ass! Beat his ass! Fight, we are perched on top of this building and we are gifted our first trophy, knocking down Kingpin, number 1 of our 74 trophies. And never mind the typo on the screen. I know, I'm an L streamer. I got it. I'm a gamer. I never said I was good at math. After being awarded our first trophy, we head to the lab. And yep, you guessed it, it's where we meet Dr. Otto Octavius, who in my opinion is actually a super good dude if it just wasn't for that chip in the back of his neck that really altered his mind. I believe he's actually a pretty good dude and has a pretty big heart. I think he's pretty wholesome, but we can get more into that later. While we were in the lab, we had to fix this robotic arm, and let's just say, it had Steve acting a fool in the chat. I ain't gonna lie, something wrong with him.
That arm got me acting up. Hey, yo.
Leaving the lab, we head around the city being our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and we get a call from Captain Yuri. She asked us to check out this Fisk construction site. Now, I won't get too much into these right now. Just know that these are part of the collectibles I said that we would revisit later. But we do get trophy number 2 here, which is called Spider Sensible for perfect dodge and 10 attacks. So you can tell I put on the best suit in the game and becoming my childhood hero. Maguire is my Spider-Man, and I'm sorry, I can't help it. I mean, look at him, his suit, and everything that was amazing. We are very humble Peter Parker, though. We aren't on our Bully Maguire vibes just yet. But off we go to set up these radio towers for Captain Yuri, which becomes super valuable later on so that we can tell where all the collectibles are on the map, which as we approach the last one, it gives us trophy number 3, amazing coverage for all surveillance towers activated. And we end up getting another trophy, which becomes our 4th trophy, for just greeting 10 citizens, which is called Spider-Man About Town. Right after we got our last trophy, Steve starts going crazy in the chat again, but this time, man, I just gotta say, big shout out to you, Steve, Papa Steve, for real, for showing me so much love in the chat, man. That my first night back after 3 months of streaming and not knowing where my stream was actually going to go with my content and stuff, because MK was just killing my brain cells. And I think you ended that night with like 30 gifted subs or something like that in the chat. And I just gotta say, it's guys like you in my chat that are making this hobby slowly, that was a dream, become slowly a reality for me, and I appreciate you. You've been here since day one, and as we continue to grow the channel, it's because of people like you. And I just want to say I love you and I appreciate you, and much love to everyone who shows up and supports me and is supporting me along this journey. But with that being said, right after Steve gifted all those subs, we ended up getting another trophy, which was called the Scientific Method, and it was for crafting your first upgrade. We then head over to the Kingpin's auction house, aka Wilson Fisk, where we were introduced to 2 things. One is our second form of enemies, named the Demons. Then the bane of my existence, the MJ missions. These missions really just upset me and they irk me, but more on that later.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I...
At the auction house, we learned that the Demons are after a file that's hidden away in the statue that contains information about a biochemical weapon named Demon's Breath. And we end up losing this file to the Demons. A call from Captain Yuri that tells Spider-Man that Shocker is causing havoc in the city and that we need to subdue him. And we do get a trophy for defeating him. We also get another trophy called King of Swing for completing a level 1 traversal benchmark. Then not too soon after, we pick up another trophy called Snappy Dresser for wearing 5 new spider suits. Then swinging around the city and grabbing other miscellaneous trophies, I ended up coming across one that I didn't mean to, called Lost and Found for collecting 5 backpacks. Now I won't get too far into the backpacks because they are a part of the collectible grind, but here we go, Lost and Found. After grabbing those miscellaneous trophies, we head over to Doc Ock's lab, where he has a breakthrough in research for helping veterans, which is near and dear to my heart, seeing as I am a veteran, and not to mention it goes on to further prove my point that Doc Ock really isn't a bad guy. It's seriously just a chip on the back of his head that was really making his mind go crazy and making him do the things that he was doing, all because he wanted to further prove his point that he could actually help those in need. And as we get there, we see this breakthrough, and the mayor, Norman Osborn, yep, that's right, the mayor, Norman Osborn, storms in and shuts down the operation because, let's just say, he has a personal vendetta against Doc and pretty much wants his research to be conducted at Oscorp, only because he's greedy. It really comes down to he just wants to line his pockets with the money by Doc Ock's research. After leaving the lab, we head out to find one of Harry's research stations, and we will get more into these later during the collectible grind, but I really wanted to try and finish the story before anything else. In the mix of us having to do this first station, as it was a part of the main story, we did get another miscellaneous trophy called Wing It for traversing the city's rooftops. And let me just say that these research stations annoyed me as bad as the MJ missions. After suffering through the Harry and MJ missions, we then are introduced to one of my favorite characters in the entire game, and that is Officer Jefferson. He helps us take down a bunch of demons at a Fisk warehouse who are trying to steal a bunch of weapons, and not only that, he does save our life, and just off that alone, he's definitely certified in our book. Also, in the mix of doing this mission, we picked up another miscellaneous trophy called And Stay Down. Complete a level 1 combat benchmark. No sooner after Officer Jefferson saves our life, we are introduced to Bay. Not this one.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have.
At least she's helpful along this journey because she instantly gives us a trophy called Cats Out of the Bag for collecting a black cat collectible. The next scene coming up is one of the few scenes in the game that I think sold so many people on the cinematics of this game were just incredible. And at times I seriously feel like I'm watching a movie versus playing a game, which if you ask me just really shows how much thought went into these games. It is also the first time we are introduced to Miles Morales, and I love seeing the way that he is portrayed as a young kid. After getting a look at young Miles, we then head over to Officer Jefferson's award ceremony for saving our life the other day. It was the least that we could do is show up and support. One thing about this scene is that Officer Jefferson is accepting this award with an open heart and is very wholesome and also is extremely proud to serve as a police officer. But on the other hand, Mayor Norman Osborn really doesn't care. He just wants to look good in the public eye for his re-election campaign, and we can see that through his body language and the way he acts. And once again, it's showing why most people who really know him don't like him, aka Doc Ock. Oh, and if you were wondering or confused, Officer Jefferson is Miles' dad. But things at the award ceremony take a turn for the worse when the demons show up and start to blow everything up, and in return ends up killing Officer Jefferson because once again he selflessly pushes people out of the way before a bomb goes off and brings himself to his death, which ends up hurting Miles the most. And this is also where we learn that Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee, yeah, this guy, is the leader of the demons, and all we know for now is that he hates Mayor Osborn. After all that, even though it was a really sad, extremely sad way to end Act 1, we do get a main story trophy called Demons Emerge for completing Act 1. At the start of Act 2, we head to the lab and go talk to Doc Ock, where we realize he is struggling with his medical condition, and he finally tells us what's wrong with him and also tells us about him and Mayor Osborn's history and why they have so much animosity among them, which led me into explaining why I think Doc Ock might be one of the best, most wholesome people in the whole world and had an unfortunate motor functioning issue that he was trying to solve with his own research, and still among all of that, he also was still trying to help others. It was just that chip that really did alter his personality. Oh yeah, have I mentioned that Doc Ock to me really isn't a bad dude and his storyline is actually kind of sad?
Yo, Chris, you let me know what you think, right? But I think, bro, I genuinely think that Doc Ock ain't that bad of a dude, bro. Like how the rest of the villains are genuinely like just bad people, or like they were bad. Like Sandman was a con man before he became Sandman, right? Like most of the people that are bad were just bad all their life, right? Doc Ock genuinely has a good heart, but that chip.
After we leave the lab, did I mention that we get to do some more of these missions that are my personal favorite? These stupid freaking MJ missions are going to be the death of me. So we are skipping those lame-ass missions because they just cause me to rant and make me extremely angry. So we're going to skip ahead to the next main mission, where we are on a mission to rescue Charles Standish, and in doing so we earn a trophy for performing 75 stealth takedowns. Then, after rescuing Charles, we have our first run-in with one of the coolest villains in all of Marvel, Taskmaster. And no, not that horrible, disgusting version that was a huge letdown.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever.
But these missions will come into play later during the collectible grind, so more on those later. Oh, and by the way, guys, I just want to say that if it sounds like I'm sick for the remainder of this video, it's because I'm sick. I woke up again this morning and I thought that it was going away, but it turns out it just came back again this morning. I feel like I can't breathe. My chest hurts. All that good stuff. My face feels swollen. It's just allergies. It's that time of year again here in the beautiful sunshine state of Florida. I can't help it. It happens every year. But I'm fighting through, and nonetheless, the grind must go on. I promise you guys this video, I'm gonna get it done. So with all that being said, after our endeavors with Taskmaster, we head back to the lab and we get a very, very huge insight to character development and what everything has led up to this point with Doc Ock and Peter. We get to see more of what Peter was scared of with that chip on the back of Doc's neck. And we get to see that it's starting to slowly just completely take over his mind and personality with the way that he snaps at Peter right here. And unfortunately for me, I've been this entire time, this entire video in support of Doc Ock, and I just really hate that it happened the way that it did.
Hello? Parker! Just in time to celebrate. Celebrate?
Yeah, see, I got such high hopes. That's like the only game that's been announced that like I'm super excited for. Still waiting on something else to come out that's gonna be cool.
So cool. But how did you... Intracranial neural network. Neurotransmission speeds under 1 nanosecond. Faster than signals travel inside the brain. Never mind to an external prosthesis. We did it, Pete. Potential problem. Everything has problems, Pete McCarthy. But fortune favors the bold. It's time to show the world what we've done.
Otto, the neural web isn't isolating your motor neurons. It could be affecting other parts of your brain, your inhibitions, your mood. I just think we need some more
We've
testing.
done enough testing! For the first time in my life, I don't feel like a failure.
See what I'm saying, bro? It's the chip that made my dog go bad, bro.
Otto, you're not a failure. But this could permanently damage your mind.
Now, at this point in the game, I am over these MJ missions. I tried to be very patient in the beginning of the game, and it really just seems like they dumbed down the game to put her in somewhere. And it's just boring, and I wish it wasn't. I feel like they had an opportunity to make her have some pretty cool missions. And you may be asking yourself, why am I bringing up these MJ missions again? Well, that's because over at Oscorp, you guessed it, we still have to play as MJ, which is still the bane of my existence, by the way. And we are trying to stop the demons from turning the Devil's Breath into a chemical bomb. And this leads us up to our first fight with Martin Lee, which I thought was honestly one of the best scenes in the entire game. I thought that the writing for this scene was amazing, and we get a little bit more insight to his and Mayor Osborn's turmoil. But unfortunately, after thinking I was going to get my own train scene, I was really just led on with another one of Peter's corny jokes, which ended up leading to have all 6 major villains locked up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they couldn't possibly break out and wreak havoc all over the city at all. Now, this next part is honestly one of my favorite parts of the entire game. So many different angles of cinema that the devs were trying to conquer. And in this crazy scene right here that starts us off at the raft. And for those of you that don't know, the raft is basically Spider-Man's top of the line, maximum security prison that holds all of the bad guys that we spent the entire game putting behind bars, which ultimately leads to all of them being released from their cells and this pretty badass fight scene between us and all 6 of them. And
Where'd you get it? It's an exclusive club.
Damn.
Remember, he said not to kill him. Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
We definitely want to. Now!
No. They said not to kill him, but boy, they beating his ass.
I'm not gonna lie, Peter folded harder than the Dallas Cowboys come in playoff time in this fight. And then this is also where we get our first glimpse of Doc Ock going full psycho villain. And after all that cinema and all that madness, we do end up getting our 15th trophy for completing Act 2 called the Six Assemble. Just after getting our ass beat worse than Florida State in a Big Six bowl game, we find out that not only do we have the Sinister Six after us, but we have Demon Outpost, Prisoner Outpost, Sable units / outposts to deal with. But I did, however, decide to leave them for the end and knock out during the collectible grind all at once, and that low-key came back to bite me, as you'll see later on in the video. But I did decide to just go ahead and deal with the Sinister Six, Toby style of course, because you already know what it is. First up was defeating Vulture and Electro, which was also action-packed, like we were fighting at the raft again.
Spider-Man! I must break you.
Yeah, alright.
You got it! You got my joke! I'm so happy I can almost stop fighting! Almost! Gotta be honest, liked it better when you two were loners.
Amazing what a little teamwork can achieve, ain't it? The vigor of youth, the wisdom of experience, a fine pairing.
Just like oil and water, sure.
Watch your fire! You won't do that again! Need to catch my breath! Take over, Electro!
Only this time I came back into this fight with a little more style, like I was Conor McGregor, and I did exactly what a double champ does, which led us to get another trophy called Grounded for defeating Electro and Vulture. After that crazy fight, I decided to go ahead and try and knock out Rhino and Scorpion, which led us to our next trophy, which was called Sting and Smash for defeating Scorpion and Rhino. Which means we only had 2 more to wrap up the story of Spider-Man 1, which was Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee, and the homie Doc Ock. I don't care. He's still a homie, it's not his fault, and you can fight me about it. But anyways, I headed over to a Oscorp building where they were making the Demon's Breath cure, and Martin Lee shows up to crash the party, but so do we, and we end up with a fight against Martin Lee again, and honestly, every time we fight him, I think the fights just get better. I don't know if it is because he is really that cool of a character, or Insomniac just did that great of a job, but we defeat him nonetheless, and we get a trophy called Staying Positive. The last person on our list is Doc Ock, and we head to the top of Oscorp Tower to get this fight started, and unfortunately, we aren't doing it Toby style, but we did get this cool ass suit, and honestly, I think Toby would appreciate it. And while we're at it, I really wanted Doc to drop Norman Osborn faster than Kadarius Toney dropping a great pass from Pat Mahomes. Let's be real with ourselves here. He deserves it, and I do blame him for what happened to Doc Ock. And also, has anyone else noticed a trend in Spider-Man that once Peter gets mad, he takes over, and well, he took over.
Can't you see all the people you're hurting?
You'll never understand! You haven't suffered like I have!
Oh.
You should be on my side! I won!
Bro, let's go, bro. This is cinema for real. Cinema photography, bro. This is peak video game right here, bro. Peak video games. Let's go.
Please, think of the man you were. That man is gone. You can't save me.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, yo.
Then I guess you'll have to save yourself. You were my hero. You meant so much to me. I hate that you're making me do this. We were going to change the world! You look tired, Parker.
Not tired. Just hurt.
Otto! Stop!
Damn, bro, he stuck him.
If you want to change the world, you have to be the kind of man who can make the hardest decisions.
I couldn't agree more. Ah! Ah! No!
Yo, Pete really just said gotcha.
The anti-serum.
Go get it, Pete. Go get it, Pete.
Immediately after, Peter is faced with a true hero decision. Save the ones you love or save mankind. And let's just say this really pulled on my heartstrings a little bit because I couldn't imagine losing my mama. And she always seems to know what's going on in my life even when I don't tell her. So this scene hit a little bit on the heartstrings.
I want to see my nephew.
Bro, and she knew, bro.
You knew?
I've known for a while.
I never wanted you to worry.
I did. And I'm so proud of you. And Ben, me too. All the people you've saved.
Bro, that shit sucks, bro.
I don't know what to do.
Yes, you do.
Don't do it, Peter. It ain't right. Don't do it, Peter. It ain't right. As bad as it hurts, don't do it. It ain't right, dog. Bro. That shit pulls on your heartstrings every time, bro. God damn. No, not the flat line, bro. Bro, I picture that being like my mom, bro. That shit like always makes me tear up, bro. Every time, bro. I picture that shit being my mom. Like for some reason, bro, that's just what I feel. Like when he said, I don't know what to do, that's what it made me think of, bro. It's like, bro.
Which, after losing Aunt May, we did end up getting a trophy called Endgame for completing Act 3. Now this ended the main story, but we still have the DLC to do, which is broken into 3 parts. And the 3 parts are the heist, Turf Wars, and Silver Lining. So I didn't waste any time getting started on the DLC. And the heist kicks off with, you guessed it, Bay stealing a painting, and honestly, I was down to just let her keep it. And after dealing with Bay, I got introduced to the next set of missions that I can honestly say I hate with a burning passion. Screwball missions. Because you have to get a spectacular level or higher on all of her challenges to get the trophy. And she's basically just an annoying 2010s baby that is a streamer and also is clickbaiting people by putting other people in harm's way for Spider-Man to save. Yeah, I could go my entire life never doing another one of these missions. But essentially, after trying to help our Bay in our toxic relationship, she gets into a lot of trouble with one of the biggest crime bosses, Hammerhead. And he ends up blowing her up, which gives a trophy named Bye Felicia for completing the heist. But we aren't done with the heist. We still have the collectible grind, but we will get more into that later. Now we start Turf Wars, and basically we are trying to stop Hammerhead from taking over the entire crime boss family as a whole in New York. Because then he would have total control, and long story short, he gathers up the entire mob family, puts them in a hole in the ground, and tries to cover them up with cement. And oh yeah, did I mention he pretty much kills all of Captain Yuri's crew? causing her to pretty much go off the rails and go rogue. And oh yeah, last but not least, he is stealing Sable equipment and is pretty much building himself a crazy suit where he is more machine than man. Basically, this guy is trying to be the Italian Terminator. And since he is stealing Sable gear to take over New York City, we team up with Silver Sable and low-key, Wood. But after teaming up with Silver Sable, we finally take down Hammerhead, which leads to a pretty cool fight, and we do get our final story mission trophy of the game, named Terminated. Now all that is left is the collectible grind, and honestly I forgot all about it because the story was just that good. But in order for me to get the platinum, I essentially had to 100% all districts, meaning all side missions and collectibles, and then a new game plus playthrough. The collectible grind consists of things like demon hideouts, fist towers, Sable outposts, crimes from all factions, landmarks, backpacks, screwball challenges, and taskmaster challenges. And then last but not least, Harry's research stations. So I slowly made my way around knocking each one out and collecting trophies like...
Love it.
Hey, there we go. Hey, ace the base.
So close to perfection.
There we go. Hey. Hey, back in the slammer. Hey, enter sanctuary. Let's go, take that.
Good night, Scoop.
Hey, ninja. Hey, hug it out. Let's go. Knock.
After I 100% all districts in the DLC and main story, I got a trophy named I Love Manhattan. And all that was left to do was a new game plus playthrough on ultimate difficulty. And honestly, at this point in the game, it was pretty much a breeze. So I knocked out the story again and got a trophy named Power and Responsibility for completing a playthrough on ultimate difficulty. Now, after completing our new game plus playthrough, we only had 2 more things to do. And I purposely left these 2 things for last because one is perch atop Avengers Tower. And I just wanted to say that without Tony Stark and Iron Man and the Avengers as we know it, we wouldn't have the MCU or our childhood, and he just really helped shape our childhood. So I thought, what better way to help in the video than pay our respects to Tony Stark, because he just, again, shaped our childhood so much that we wouldn't have the Avengers without him. And with those famous words, I am Iron Man, they will always have a special place in my heart. And last but not least, that I think the most important to the game was pay our respects to Uncle Ben. Because I remember being a child watching Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire, my childhood hero, and him give him the best words of wisdom. With great power comes great responsibility. And I still know that to this day alongside all of you. So without further ado, we're going to pay our respects to Uncle Ben.
Hey, with great power, pay respects at Ben Parker's grave. Gives us 73, and this should be a platinum. Let's go, baby. First platinum in the books. First platinum in the books. Let's go. 74 trophies. It's over with, dude. It's over with. I did it. Let's go. Let's go, bro. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Let's go. R.I.P. Uncle Ben, man. Let's go.
And with that, YouTube, that is our very first platinum in the books. And as you can see, I was totally ecstatic. It was a totally different gaming experience than what I was used to, and I had so much fun with it. I will tell you that we are going to platinum the Arkham series. We have already started it. Don't worry, you can click the video on the screen to follow along. It's in a playlist. Every time I upload, I put it in that playlist so you can follow along part by part. Also, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, a comment, and smash that subscriber button. If you ever want to watch the YouTube videos live, you can always click the links down in the description for my Twitch. You can always catch us over there. I stream pretty regularly. And if you would like, you can also join the Discord. I will leave the link down for that as well down in the description, so that way you could get live updates as when we go live. And if you don't have Discord and you want to still get a live update of when we go live, you can follow me on Twitter, and I'll post that link down in the description. But I will see you guys next time, and I appreciate you guys. Much love.